I have some pretty large goals, but I also have a next action. What's up, everybody? Jay Miller here, bringing you another daily productivity tip.
Come on.
And this tip came from a really awesome person named Carl Pullein. Thank you, Carl, for all the help that you've provided with productivity in tech. For those that don't know, Carl has been a big advocate of the community and has helped push a lot of his audience to become my audience. Be sure you go subscribe to his channel. Now, we, every once in a while, will sit down and not have a heart-to-heart. I don't want to call it a heart-to-heart. We'll have a phone session or a Facebook message session where we sit down and we break down what's going on in Pitt, and sometimes we even get into what's going on in Carl's community, the working with community. Now, for me, this is always a big learning lesson. I am always learning new and great ways to make sure that I am staying focused on what my plans are for Pitt, and that I have an active plan, an active game plan to get there. And yesterday, as Carl and I were talking, he mentioned something that really made me think about what I was doing with productivity in tech. One of the things that he mentioned was, what is my overall plan? What is my plan for Pitt? Now, I've always wondered that question myself. What exactly do I have in store for productivity in tech? And for me, that thing is I want this community to be so big that we have our own conference. That has been something. For those that don't know, I've never been to a tech conference. And I'm a developer. Like, tech conferences are like what we love to go do. Actually, I had Kenneth Love on the podcast at one point to advocate why we should go to tech conferences and why we should go to a lot of them. But I've never been to a tech conference. I plan on changing that soon. But I've always thought it would be amazing to host my own conference for the community members. And I've always wanted to make sure I have great speakers there. I always wanted to make sure that everyone feels welcome and invited. And I would have to say, if any goal was my ultimate goal of, hey, I know I've made it, I know I'm there now, that would be my goal. Now, obviously, that wouldn't make me stop innovating. But right now, that's just the big goal, get to that point. Now, I know some people like the whole 5-year goal, 10-year goal. This isn't a 5 or 10-year goal. This is a whenever it happens goal. However, there are a bunch of things that need to happen before I can justify putting on a big conference just for the productivity and tech community. There's so many things. There's income to think about. There's audience. There's speakers. There's locations. All these things have to happen first. And by the way, I'm not announcing a conference. I'm just telling you that's my overall goal. But I have all of these things that I have to think about, and I need to build in each and every one of these places. So how do I do that? Well, I call this the 1-in-1. The 1-in-1. Somewhere in your life, you need to have the one big goal. Whatever that one big goal is that you're working towards. Somewhere else in your life, you need to have the one next thing that needs to happen to get to that goal. Now, how do you find that next thing that needs to happen? Well, this is where the power of why comes in. If you sit there and you ask yourself why or how, then what that does is that breaks down that goal into a smaller piece. And then ask why or how again. And then keep asking why or how. I would honestly say keep asking why until you can't ask why anymore, and then ask how. So if you start at the top, you say, why do I want to do this thing? Well, because of this. Okay, why do I want to do this? Well, because of this. Well, then why do I want this to happen? Well, because of this. Well, why do I want that to happen? I don't know. Okay, now, how are you going to get this bottom part fulfilled? And then whatever the answer is there, keep breaking it down. Now this might take a while, and I would recommend that you use something very flexible, a very flexible tool. A few suggestions that I have that you could try are Workflowy. Workflowy is great because it's extensible and you can break it apart. However, they do have a limit to how many items you can add for free, so just be careful with that. Another tool that I'm personally using is TaskPaper. I like TaskPaper for these particular kinds of projects because it's very extensible. You can mix and match things. You can tailor it to kind of fit your needs if you're a little techie like me. Another tool you can use is MindNode and mind mapping. Because with the MindNode and the mind map, what you can basically do is explain the why and the how at each bubble level. Now, I will say that mind maps will visually be a little tough because as they grow, they get smaller and it becomes harder to read. That's why I like using things like TaskPaper or Workflow. You can kind of collapse the things that you're not interested in at the moment and get to the things that you are interested at that exact time. Another thing, and I always recommend this, pen and paper. Pen and paper are going to be a great help to your system because before you get an idea solidified, it's going to transform, it's going to change a lot. So being able to write something down, scribble it out, change your thoughts, add points, add highlights, underline things, really dig in to what it is you're trying to find. That's going to be a big help. So that is going to be my tip for today. Like I said, I really want to make sure that everyone here knows what exactly the focus is for productivity in tech, and I hope that you could use this example to help define what you really want to do in your life, in your career, in your goals. You can do this for your upcoming projects. You can do this for project planning. You can do this for life planning. I've discovered that it works in a multitude of situations. But that's going to be it. If you want to hang out with us, be sure to head over to productivityintech.com/FB. Join our Facebook group. I'm super excited about that group. I can't talk enough about it. And then also, if you want to connect with us and be on the Productivity in Tech podcast, or if you have a reflection that you want to give, you can do so. Please send us an email to info@productivityintech.com and we will respond to you as soon as possible, usually within the day. And of course, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave some comments below so we can get the conversation rolling on what your plans are. I want to hear what people's plans are. I want to be able to help them discover those plans and figure it out. And then of course, if you're not yet, please be sure to subscribe. That way you can get these videos and more delivered to your YouTube app of choice or your YouTube desktop. You get that little notification bubble. So that's it for me. I'm Jay Miller, and until next time, keep being productive.